and some unpronounceable. The referee tonight is Henning Lund Sorensen. He comes like the two linesmen from Denmark. A noisy crowd on a special night in South Wales. So Swansea in white get this special night underway. 3-2 down after the first leg in Athens. It means a 1-0 or a 2-1 win here for the Welsh side tonight puts them into the next round. Swansea rightly believe they've got a great chance here at the Vetch. It's certainly going to be a night for stirring deeds. They conceded 6 against Reading on Saturday, which was their worst defeat in 4 years, and their worst one here in Swansea for 24. And needless to say, they need to put that thoroughly behind them now. They've got this free kick, and Kalantzis throwing the ball away. And firecrackers going up in the stands amongst the, as you can see in the far end there, amongst the Greek supporters. Tommy Hutchison with this free kick for Swansea. Big men up from the back. Andrew Melville's up there. Terry Boyle's in there. Hutchison's free kick floated there towards the goalkeeper. And Abdiotakis, one of the few uncapped players in this Panathinaikos side, makes the collection. Hutchison away again. The Greeks just couldn't believe that a player of 42 could be playing in this level of competition. But Tommy has defied them, defied a lot of people over the years, and is looking for a real night of glory here. Now, watch this long throw of Andrew Leggs. Probably the longest throw in the Football League, and it might just surprise the Greeks. That's a massive throw there. And a shot on the turn by Salako. And Melville, a word with Begg, but you can see just what a long throw it was, with a slightly different trajectory that can wrong-foot a defence. Bracey a long way out of his goal. Hutchison to Huff, towards the goalkeeper. Oh, that looked like a shove, a penalty! It was a shove on Rayner. The Greeks protesting around the Danish referee. They're infuriated by it, but I have to say, from the position I am in here, that looked a sure push on Rayner, the number 11. Let's have a look again. To be a shove on the back of Paul Rayner. Down he went. The referee had no hesitation, pointed to the spot. Now who's going to take it? Bobby James is the man who normally does. Just back after injury. 32 years old, Swansea born. Played over 400 games for Swansea before he moved on to Stoke, Queen's Park Rangers, Leicester, and then came back. But never maybe a more important moment than this. It's a goal! And now we shall see what happens. Robbie James scores from the penalty spot. Suddenly Wales are swinging and singing, and the Greeks wonder how they'll react to that. A perfect penalty. The crowd applaud it, and Swansea are ahead. Goalkeeper going quite the wrong way. Robbie James's nerve held. Now will the Swansea defence hold? Kolev. It's a good shot, but it's too high. Got himself into a good scoring position and got it onto his less favoured right foot. I thought at first he'd struck it well, but it was always just flying over the Swansea goal. There's Coleman again, the long ball forward. Rayner's after this one, the one who forced the penalty out of Panathinaikos. And now it's got a corner out of them. Their first of the night. Hutchison will take it. No, it'll be... Chris Coleman's going across there. No, it's not a corner, it's a throw. Hutchison. Whoa! What's the face of that goal? That was nearly storybook time for 42-year-old Tom. Took the throw well, shook off his defender, hit it first time. So an important 45 minutes gets underway, and Swansea hold this lead and take their place in the next round of the Cup Winners' Cup. There's no doubt about it, a second goal would be so important for them, just give them that little bit of cushion. It would mean then the Greeks would have to get two to qualify. As it is at the moment, one goal by Panathinaikos would still be enough to put the Greeks through into the next round, having won the first leg 3-2. There's that long throw again, and it was Phillips in there, Rayner in there. Gets a vital one at the start of this second half. Now the Greeks need to get two. And now what Swansea have to do is to consolidate and do nothing that's silly or sloppy like that of Tom Hutchinson, of all people. Challenge? No, it wasn't a good challenge. It was a foul by Coleman and a free kick for Panathinaikos, and they'll be desperate to bounce back into this game. What an amazing situation of teams struggling at the bottom of the third division, now leading 2-0 here. And the bit of a save from Dimopoulos by Lee Bracey. Here's Pollack. It should be easy for Boyle to get away. It's a throw to Swansea. That long throw again, massive throw by Andrew Legg. Evridis. Kalensis. This is Kolev. Here's Robbie James. And they can eventually get it back to goalkeeper Abdiotakis. Dimopoulos is trying to get in behind Melville, but Melville judged that well. And Mike Dimopoulos, the goal given. Swansea looking around, thought for a moment there should have been a whistle earlier, but suddenly they're caught absolutely back on their heels, and Dimopoulos has given the Greeks more than a little hope. I think Swansea felt that there may have been a handball there. They were appealing, and Dimopoulos came off his man. Bracey could stop it but couldn't hold it, and it was a formality then for the number 9. Antonio. Melville again. Solarco. Playing well there with Doria, but Doria couldn't quite keep it in play. It'll be a throw to Panathinaikos. John Solarco. Doria. Just 25 minutes are left now. Rayner after this one. Played in there towards Phillips. Looked to get a little back header in. It would have been good for Swansea if he had, because Hutchison was just behind him. Doria again. No, it's too tight in there. Kolev challenged and beaten by Robbie James. The Bulgarians after him again. And Swansea go on as the flag stays down, with Solarco trying to get the ball in for Phillips and forcing a corner out of Mavridis, and more pressure on the Greeks. Tommy Hutchison will take it. Andrew Melville's up there. Terry Boyle has gone in there too. They've left just Robbie James and David Huff at the back, as Hutchison now takes this corner for Swansea. Coleman's header. Played in again. Melville! It's another one! Swansea have scored again! The big defender and captain has scored 2 in the game and makes it 3 for Swansea. Come on, he says to the crowd. Now we really need your support to see us home. Long ball in from the right. Wilden. And they really haven't defended all that well, Panathinaikos. Rayner plays it in, and Melville is in there to pounce once again, and Swansea have a 3-1 lead. Well, what an inspiring night for the 20-year-old captain, Andrew Melville. Hutchison challenging in there again. Get it to Antonio. He's brought down by the enthusiasm there of Robbie James. A free kick to Panathinaikos. A quick word from the referee for James. Gets it back. Good challenge there by Hutchison. No, an unfair one, says the referee. Maybe it was the challenge by Rayner, who was on the ground. 3-1 then to Swansea, which means the Greeks have got to get another goal to take the game into extra time, bring it up to 3-2, which was the score in the first leg. Antonio playing it in. Melville, the powerful captain, getting it away. Oh, Phillips playing it back in again. Why did he do that? Dimopoulos, and across the face of the goal, and the flag was up in any case on this side of the field for an offside. Phillips, who played that back into a dangerous area, being sent packing by his defenders. That was not the sort of pass that was required that put Panathinaikos in possession again. But the referee decided, or the linesman rather, that Dimopoulos was offside there. That's a bad ball there. Rayner picked it up and found Hutchison dancing over the challenges. Coleman stabs it in there. Comes to Doria. Now Solarco. Doria again sliding in, but Kolev, a good left foot, and a good chase is on now. And the referee looked towards the penalty. Has he given it? He's given a penalty to Panathinaikos. The challenge in the back of Sarabakos gives Panathinaikos the chance. Well, I tell you, that may well have been just outside the box. It was real touch and go. The referee was way behind. You just saw him fractionally in the top of the picture. He looked across at the linesman, and the linesman decided that was inside the penalty area when the first challenge was made. So, a captain's job is it for Sarabakos against 21-year-old Lee Bracey, and he scores, which brings it to 3-2 and level on aggregate now. just as Swansea had 2 goals, away goals in Athens, so Panathinaikos have got 2 goals here. And it's level at 5-5 on aggregate. Melville, a 2-goal hero for Swansea tonight. Boyle gets in there. Salako plays it back for Doria. James right up this time. Another Swansea throw. Quickly taken by John Salako. Coleman's header. Hutchison knocking it on. Phillips! Oh, there was a chance there. And he dragged it wide. Way opened up for him by the touch of Tommy Hutchison. And you just thought for a moment that that might be the moment of glory for Swansea, but Phillips just dragged it wide. Played on there by Tommy Hutchison. It was a nice touch by him. Phillips getting in on it quickly and then dragging it wide of the Panathinaikos goal. James with a header. Seem to be so many green shirts there at the moment, though. Antonio, a substitute, being harassed by Tommy Hutchison. It came off Coleman. It'll be another throw to Panathinaikos. Savarakos. And a foul given against the Panathinaikos captain, and a free kick to Swansea. We're now playing time added on for stoppages at the end of 90 minutes. Racing kick falls straight to Panathinaikos. And it's Savarakos. It might be decided right at the last. And it's in there. Panathinaikos have scored in the last seconds. And that'll be enough, surely, to put them into the next round. The goalkeeper is right up in the centre circle, hugging everybody around him on the bench. They are doing a dance of delight. And the skipper has done his work. Savarakos, a delightful little chip as Gracie came out, an agonising wait to see whether that went over or under the bar. It went underneath, and Panathinaikos looked as though they're going to go through. Took it well, mind you, and judged it to perfection as the Swansea keeper came out. In fact, it came off this keeper and looped just into the back of the net. What we're playing now really are the last few seconds of formality. It's Panathinaikos certainly who now will go through. And for so long tonight, it looked as though it might be a night of great glory for South Wales. Well, that was a tough old challenge there by Robbie James on Savarakos. That was a real rough and tumble old challenge there by Robbie James. And a yellow card. A little bit of frustration showing there. And again, you get the impression maybe that the Greek made rather a lot of it. But it was a fairly rash challenge there, right close to the touchline there by Robbie James. Maybe showing his frustration when, for the likes of Andrew Melville with his 2 goals, and for Robbie James with that fine penalty, it looked as though they'd sowed the seeds of a great Swansea victory. Some amount of acrimony now on that far touchline. And Melville going after the goalkeeper. Thank goodness he pulled back in time. Played 4 minutes of time added on now. Looks as though Panathinaikos will go through on a 6-5 aggregate. Doria. Yes! Now there's trouble again there. Extraordinary, isn't it? If only fate would decide the ball would come to this side, but that's 2 incidents we've had there right in front of the benches. The people get off the bench and start making trouble as well. And I'm quite sure the players and the referee and everybody else could sort it out quite quickly. And all the storm in a teacup, really. And a rather ragged finish here now. There goes the final whistle, though. And there's the man, Dimitris Saravakos, with his 2 goals that put Panathinaikos into the next round, when for so long tonight it looked as though 3rd Division Swansea, who battled supremely well for most of the night, would add a night of glory to their history. Robbie James put Swansea ahead with a penalty after 34 minutes. Andrew Melville added a second and got the 3rd for Swansea. Dimopoulos and Saravakos with 2 replied for Panathinaikos. The final score then, with a 6-5 win on aggregate for Panathinaikos. The final score here on the night is Swansea 3, Panathinaikos 3, as the Greeks celebrate in the stands.
I think that's probably as good a rating, one of my most disappointing games I've ever played in. To be cruising at one stage 2-0 up and cruising again at 3-1. We committed Harry Carey at the back, and everything seemed to fade away from us in the end.
Crucial penalty came at a decisive moment. Now, how did you view that? Because the referee looked to be a long way behind it, and it was possible that the first contact could have been outside the box.
Well, obviously not having the benefit of your viewpoint up there, from where I was sat, I couldn't say where the contact was made. I just felt that the referee seemed to look at his linesman for some length of time as he was making ground up.
Did you feel he was way behind?
He was definitely a long way behind. The linesman was in a better position, no doubt about it, but the linesman didn't give the referee any indication of where it was, whether it was inside or out, and he just seemed to say, well, a penalty.
The Greeks were amazed that a 42-year-old would still be playing at this level. You've been a credit to Swansea again tonight. I mean, what's the future now for you, Tom?
The future, my next hope is that I get picked Saturday for a start, and then the next thing is to hope that we'll have a little cup run and we'll maybe pull Man United at Arsenal or one of the big clubs, and then again it's back to the Palladium, so to speak, after playing it in the Grand Theatre.
You've kept fantastically fit. Is there, in a word, just a secret for it?
Hard work.
Well, I'm sure we know what he means, even if we can't hear him. The man with no sell-by date. He's certainly given us some pleasure over the years, hasn't he? But wasn't that penalty decision against Swansea diabolical? Right, we're off to the continent next with Aberdeen. Charlie Nicholas and company protecting a fragile lead against Rapid Vienna. Stay with us. Again. With 10 minutes remaining of their UEFA Cup tie against Aberdeen a fortnight ago, Rapid Vienna must have been relishing the journey home with a job well done. They'd contained the Scots and scored a priceless away goal. The return was surely a formality. Well, at the final whistle, they left the field bemused after Aberdeen's last desperate barrage. Suddenly 2-1 down, the tie now finally poised. They settled the issue in the second leg in Vienna tonight, in front of our commentator, Martin Tyler.
Well, Aberdeen start without both their goal scorers in that dramatic comeback. Craig Robertson is unfit, Brian Grant is on the bench. But David Robertson suspended then and Ian Cameron injured are both in this side, along with Brian Irvin, an extra defender. Much will depend on Alex McLeish and Willie Miller, so streetwise in these situations after many defensive battles for club and country. And the Dutch goalkeeper, Theo Snelders. Rapid have taken a gamble on their scorer in the first leg, Kranjčar, who was subsequently hurt at Pittodrie and hasn't played since. So there's just the one enforced change. Petzel banned because of his sending off in Aberdeen, but Browneder, another international, is a capable replacement. UEFA recognised the need for an experienced referee. 7 yellow cards and 1 red from the first meeting. He's the West German Dieter Pauli. Since the match at Pittodrie, Aberdeen have reached the Skol Cup final. They've gone top of the Premier League. They should be cock-a-hoop for this challenge. But Rapid Vienna unbeaten in their last 9 league games. Aberdeen taking their time, and the local fans in the Gerhard Hanapi Stadium, not appreciating that. And not appreciating the chance that Aberdeen have got here for Cameron. And surely a goal, no! Charlie Nicholas. Cameron had the first chance, Nicholas the second. And Aberdeen might rue that. It was Mason who chased on, was onside, cut the ball back perfectly for Cameron, and then Nicholas, who hasn't scored this season in 11 games before tonight. Granider. McLeish in the right place. It's Herzog with the shot, and Fjortoft snaps up the rebound. The Norwegian, they call here the Scotland specialist, because he scored for Norway against Scotland in the World Cup qualifier, and he's got a priceless goal for his Austrian club in the 18th minute. A ricochet off Miller. The flag stayed down. Fjortoft finished in style. It's a good ball played to Keglevitz by Glitzenetz, and it was deflected. So Rapid Vienna have a corner. 10 minutes to go to half-time. Miller and McLeish told Snelders when he came from Dutch football that he must only come off his line if he's 100% certain of getting to the ball, otherwise to leave it to them. He stays on his line now. Here's Herzog. The goalkeeper had plunged down, expecting to make a save, but Alec McLeish somehow got in the way of Herzog's drive. ...21 years old, and Andy Herzog, who's played a part in the one-goal pass Snelders, almost got one for himself then. Keglevitz off the line. Very nearly a second for Rapid Vienna. It was Connor who kicked it to safety. This is Fjortoft. And he's away. Kranjčar is at the near post. And it was drilled wide by Pfeifenberger. Fjortoft got clear. A good angle for the cutback. Kranjčar couldn't get there. Pfeifenberger did, but wide it went. Bet. Difficult ball for Granider to deal with under pressure from Nicholas. What can Charlie Nicholas come up with here? He screened it well. Great play from Nicholas, and the shot, sadly, in keeping with the way his finishing, or lack of finishing, has gone this season. Charlie Nicholas was the top scorer in the Premier League last season with 18 goals, but even one goal this season has been elusive. The turn was brilliant, the shot less so. Connor, but the Rapid Vienna fans are enjoying it well enough. Their team is in the driving seat. Ray's dangerous play, another free kick to Rapid, and this is too close for comfort for Aberdeen. Towards the near post. That's Kinas. Terrific save. Wonderful save by Snelders. Possibly a tie-saving piece of agility. It was a good free kick again. The ball delivered with pace, and Kinas, the number 6, met it squarely, but so too did Snelders. Another view. and from whatever angle you see it, that's a great one-handed save by Theo Snolders. Betts earns another free kick, which he'll want to take himself. That's McLeish. Here's Nicholas! I think it wouldn't have counted. In keeping with this refereeing policy of Dieter Pauli's, there was a whistle for a push by McLeish before Nicholas skied it. Hans Krankel's team are very near to their place in the second round of the UEFA Cup. Dieter Pauli must be on the brink of blowing the final whistle. He's done just that. The leaders of the Premier League in Scotland and the Skol Cup finalists are out of the UEFA Cup through one goal from Fjortoft here, which levelled the aggregate to 2-2. But the free kick curled in beautifully by Kranjčar early in the first leg. The away goal has proved decisive. So 1-0 in the second leg, 2-2 on aggregate. Rapid Vienna go through on the away goals rule.
So another British club goes down in Europe. Well, still to come, Diego Maradona and Napoli's assault on Sporting Lisbon. Right now, the rest of the day's news from Tony.
And who'd be a Glaswegian tonight? While Celtic were mastering the art of scoring 5 and still losing, Rangers failed to rise to the greatest challenge of Graham Souness's career. That's how he described their attempt to salvage a 3-1 deficit in Munich's Olympic Stadium. Impossible might have been another way of putting it. Bayern were always in control, although Mo Johnston, Souness's biggest gamble and latest investment, began to make his presence felt. Too high by a mile there, and should have done better with the best chance of the game. Good goalkeeping by Alman, though. And Graham, you can shout your lungs off, they'll never hear you. Off went Mihailovic, on came Wolfhard, and Bayern, who'd done their job in Glasgow, went looking for more goals. They've never lost at home in the Champions Cup. Wolfhard on the break again, but pushed too wide to make any impact. And Rangers have succumbed to Bundesliga opposition for 3 years in succession now, and this is where Hearts also perished in the UEFA last season. And tonight's other European Cup results: Benfica 4, Derry City 0, 6-1 on aggregate to the Portuguese. Dnipropetrovsk 1, Linfield 0, so both Irish sides out at the first hurdle. And now 3 of the more famous teams in the competition. One shock already. Inter Milan 1, Malmo 1. So the Swedes through 2-1 on aggregate, and Leif Enqvist with the crucial goal. Lucerne 0, PSV 2. The 1988 champions through 5-0 on aggregate. 2 goals from Romario tonight. Brandbu 1, Marseille 1. Chris Waddle's side through 4-1. They've spent a mere £30 million to win the cup. What happens if they don't? Well, Dundee United are as common in Europe as camembert cheese. For the 12th successive year, they qualified for a second-round place. John Clark's diving header making it 4-1 on aggregate in the UEFA Cup against Little Glentoran. Pity Dean Smith in the Irish goal. He did well until Freddie van der Hoorn's shot caught him napping. Kevin Gallagher could hardly miss. Dundee 2, Glentoran 0. And still in the UEFA, confirmation there of Aberdeen's exit. Dundalk 0, Vettingen 2, the Swiss easily through. And results from some of the more fancied teams in this section. Juventus 4, Gornik 2. Juventus winning 5-2 on aggregate. Ajax and Austria Vienna was abandoned in extra time. Missiles thrown at the Austrian goalkeeper after they'd gone ahead 2-1 on aggregate. Fiorentina 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So out go the Spanish league leaders, 3-1 on penalties. Well, joining Dundee in the second round of the UEFA Cup are the lads from Edinburgh, Hibernian, who've waited 11 years for a reappearance in Europe. A single goal from the first leg seemed a precarious advantage to take to Hungary, but not so. Keith Houchin slipped out of the limelight since heading Coventry's Cup final equaliser, do you remember? But it took him only 9 minutes to put Videoton a further goal behind. The Hungarians had played so well in Edinburgh too, but Gareth Evans in the second half made it more emphatic. And then 10 minutes from time, John Collins was there to make it 3-0 on the night, 4-0 overall, and Hibs going through quite comfortably in the end. 11 years out of Europe, and now they're in round 2. But if they're drawn against Antwerp next time, the message is don't ease up, for goodness sake. Vitosha Sofia, having managed only a goalless draw in Bulgaria, were 1-0 up in Belgium after 5 minutes. With 10 minutes to go, Geilenkirchen can equalise, but you've seen nothing yet. Here comes Donkov to make it 2-1 to Vitosha. And then Mitarski, given a pretty free rein, let's be honest, left Antwerp trailing 3-1 with 60 seconds of normal time left. I know you won't believe this, but somehow Antwerp managed to win. Nico Klaassen, the little striker who never really clicked at Spurs, nipped in with 2 goals in 2 minutes. There's his first, and here comes his second. So 3-3, and we've had the last 5 in 13 minutes. And then 5 minutes into injury time, what do you know, Quaranta brought off one of the most improbable victories ever. In the Cup Winners' Cup, another remarkable game, this time at Parkhead, where Jackie Jaganovski scored 4 and Andy Walker won, but the Yugoslavs burgled an injury time goal to win on the away goals rule. Ballymena 0, Anderlecht 4, Anderlecht 10-0 on aggregate. Cork City 0, Torpedo Moscow 1, Torpedo 6-0 on aggregate. And the holders Barcelona were in Warsaw tonight, and they won through with a Michael Laudrup goal against Legia. Well, back home, a picture's beginning to emerge in the second division. Sheffield United and Blackburn are the only unbeaten clubs. Brighton, erratic. West Ham stiffening their defence. Leeds and Sunderland looking hungry. It wasn't Ipswich's night at the Goldstone ground. Craig Forrest in goal had to leave the field after a very unpleasant collision with Paul Wood. In went David Hill, and Brighton had to wait until the 88th minute for a mistake. Kirbishley's cross fumbled. Dean Wilkins gives Brighton their 4th home win on the trot. But look out for Leeds, unbeaten in 8 league and cup games and given a marvellous start by Bobby Davison from Strachan's corner. Strachan was involved in number 2 as well. Here we are, Mel. Have a go. And Sterling's aim, perfection. Oxford squandered several chances, and Mark Steen's reply made no difference to the outcome. 2-1 to Leeds. Well, Blackburn were second this morning, but it wasn't going to be easy at the Hawthorns, despite Simon Garner's early goal. And you'll probably notice there was a bit of a scramble before Don Goodman pulled West Brom level in 77 minutes. Will it go in? It must. And it did. But a goal rush had started. Scott Sellers with a 25-yard free kick. 2-1 to Barcelona within seconds, but Goodman wasn't finished. His high-velocity drive and Tony Ford lurking with intent. 2 each, Blackburn still unbeaten. The other results from the second division, Leicester 2, Sunderland 3. Sunderland go third, Leicester stay bottom. Middlesbrough 1, Hull 0. Mark Proctor with the only goal of the match after 10 minutes. Newcastle 2, Watford 1, bit of a story there. Mark Quinn with the winner, his 10th of the season. Who are these guys? Well, that's the question bouncing around the second division as Sheffield United sit at the top. Unsung, unheard of, and only promoted in the shadow of Wolves this season. Were chasing shadows last night as United collected their 5th win of the season. Brian Deane with his 6th goal in the 78th minute, and shortly afterwards he launched Tony Ogana for his 3rd. Don't get it wrong, we're not a 2-man team, says Dave Bassett. But he was a little concerned about the space Bunn had for Oldham's reply. Make no mistake, though, the Blades have a cutting edge all right. So Sheffield United 3 points clear at the top of the division, with the next 6 teams separated by 1 point. In the 4th division, Exeter 2, Grimsby 1, last-minute winner by Sean Taylor. Hereford 3, Chesterfield 2. Lincoln 1, Peterborough 0. Lincoln 3 points clear at the top of the table. They've only conceded 1 goal in the league this season. Scarborough 2, Halifax 3, and that was Halifax's first away win for 10 months. 3 results from the Vauxhall Conference. Boston 1, Enfield 0. Farnborough 0, Merthyr 1. Merthyr go 4th. Yeovil 3, Kidderminster 1. And finally, let's reflect on the ups and downs of Test cricket. While David Gower was sacked as England's captain and dropped from the West Indies tour altogether, his oppo, Alan Border, has become the 3rd most important person in Australia. That's after Les Patterson and Crocodile Dundee, I guess. He's been made an Officer of the Order of Australia. And all because they bowled straight and we didn't.
It's obviously easier said than done. What about that result at Antwerp? You feel great if you left the ground 10 minutes early to avoid the traffic, wouldn't you? Now, stand by for Diego Maradona. But a quick word first about our sparkling lineup next week when we start again at our familiar time after news at 10. It's the Littlewoods Cup second round, second leg action from the top matches, and after that, the draw for round 3, live here on Midweek Sports Special. The figure skating season gets underway with the Skate Electric UK International from Richmond. Wednesday's the men's final. And from Paris, a bonus for rugby fans with a French 15 taking on a British side based on the recent Lions tourists. That's a Midweek Sports Special next Wednesday here on ITV after news at 10. Back to this evening, and Diego Maradona in the sizzling atmosphere of the Stadio San Paolo, Napoli. That's next. Hello again. As we make for the west coast of Italy and the football club transformed by the finest player in the world, Diego Maradona. Since he joined Napoli 5 years ago, they've won the league for the first time, the Cup and the UEFA Cup. He's been in dispute with the club during the summer and missed the start of the season when he stayed at home in Argentina, but he's back now. The tie against Sporting Lisbon is delicately poised at 0-0. We join it in the second half, and our commentator is John Helm.
Sporting continue to get this ball away, but it's come to Di Napoli this time, swinging it across towards the edge of the penalty area. Little touch from Carnevale and a chance here, and a good stop from Careca by Ivkovic. And for once, the Brazilian had just a little bit of room on this side. The touch from Carnevale opened the way, but Ivkovic getting down really well. So Sporting trying to build in midfield. Oh, poor control from Brandao, though. And this on the ball is Kripa. Chance just to recover, and Kripa trying to work an opening for himself maybe. He's got a very good shot on him, Massimo Kripa. Pushes it through the inside right channel instead. Let's come back to Fusi. And Napoli continue really to monopolise the attack. Lisbon really having to defend in numbers, and another cross from De Napoli. Oh, and here's a chance, Maradona maybe, Maradona, and a good save from Ivkovic. Maradona controlling the ball well, but Tomislav Ivkovic, the Yugoslav national goalkeeper, really getting down exceptionally well, and he had to be very agile. So swung across there by Mauro, on a good little flick on, and here's a good chance for Kripa. Oh, that's really wasted. Kripa in a good position, had taken it on after that little knock onto him from Carnevale. But when it came to finishing it all off, Kripa was really found wanting. There's the little touch from Carnevale, and I think he just gets this with the outside of the boot. Chance has gone. So, Carnevale, lovely move, and that's a fine ball as well inside the full-back. A chance for Francini, and here's a really good opportunity. Oh, and it's spurned yet again. That was Massimo Mauro, the substitute. A really squandered opportunity of this one. He has the time to control it from the cross from Francini. But all credit to Ivkovic, who just puts him off his stroke. Francini, running Maradona. It's not been as influential as Napoli would have hoped for. Still perhaps just lacking a little bit of match fitness. Alimao, oh, and Careca now, surely. Oh, Ivkovic again spreading himself and denying Careca with his legs this time, and Careca stays down. Carnevale, delightful pass through, and Ivkovic has saved his side. Alimao. He's got Kripa out on this touchline. Kripa again sets in field and again perhaps thinks of a shot, and here's Kripa still going, driven in just wide of Ivkovic's right upright. And Kripa has probably had more opportunities than anybody to show his shooting skills. Getting into a good position, but he can't finish it off. Mauro floating through a gap and continuing, and that's surely a free kick. No, and Careca driving it in, and again it's Ivkovic going down. Well, it's been a real battle between the Brazilian and the Yugoslavian goalkeeper. Good, sensible refereeing there from Monsieur Biguet, allowing play to go on. The save is made. And there it is, we've had 180 minutes football and still no goals to report. It was 0-0 in Lisbon, it's 0-0 here, and Kareka has had one of those nights where he just couldn't get the ball into the net, and we're into a penalty shootout. So it will be 5 penalties apiece, and if the scores are still level at that point, then it will be a question of sudden death. And interestingly, both coaches just before the final whistle did make substitutions to get the men on who they'd want to be taking the penalties, and the first one to be taken for the home side Napoli will be taken by Massimo Crippa. So Crippa against Ivkovic. Crippa, oh, and a good save! What a fine save by Ivkovic. He guessed absolutely right, and Ivkovic has already made sure that Napoli's heads go down. The first penalty missed, and that's all down to a really excellent stop. So now it swings to the other. Oh, I don't believe it. That's another miss. So how often does that happen? Both sides missing, and that was Luisinho, and the stop is by Giuliani, and what a good stop again. And Kareka, who's had so many chances to win the match outright for Napoli in the 90 minutes, now steps forward to try and put his side 1-0 ahead on penalties. The Brazilian, who was the top goal scorer in the UEFA Cup last year with 6 goals, has a very different style, but gets it right, and the first one is in, and the Naples crowd feeling much happier about that, and so is Kareka. It was a very fine strike, and the ball going just underneath the crossbar. But the important fact is that Napoli lead 1-0. Douglas, and that's 1-1. So the Brazilian keeps his nerve. Nothing that Giuliani could do about that, and it's 1-1. Douglas, the scorer. And so it will be Massimo Mauro, one of the substitutes who was brought on for Napoli to try and make it 2-1. Mauro, and he's done it successfully. Very well struck indeed. So Napoli ahead, 2-1 in the penalty shootout, and Marlon has missed. Marlon misses, and again the balance of fortune has swung towards Napoli. And Marlon Brandão off the upright. Baroni, and Baroni noses Napoli 3-1 ahead, and the UEFA Cup holders feeling much happier with it all now. Baroni left-footed and straight into the middle of that net. And so up will step Cascavel, another of the substitutes, another of the Brazilians here, and Cascavel has done it, 3-2. So they are still alive. Cascavel, a very good strike. But I wonder now, is the stage really set for the great little man himself to seal Napoli's passage into the second round? Diego Maradona, who has played only 2 full games this season, is here, and Maradona is saved again! And Ivkovic is turning out to be a genuine hero for Sporting Lisbon. He cannot believe it. Maradona missed a penalty in the league 10 days ago. He's missed again. And the crowd are really silenced by that. And Carlos Manuel for Lisbon has the chance to make it 3-3. What drama here, and it is 3-3. Carlos Manuel, nerveless, and so 3-3 it is. Well struck indeed. So he's gone back, a job well done as Ferrara for Napoli, the fullback, steps forward to try and make it 4-3 and does so inside the left upright. Nothing Ivkovic could do that time. And so the emphasis again is with Naples leading 4-3, very much on Lisbon to equal matters, and it will be Fernando Gomes, 6 times the leading goal scorer in Portuguese football, twice the Golden Boot winner in Europe, who comes forward to try and equalise once more. And take us into sudden death penalties. If he scores, that will happen. If he misses, Napoli will go through. Gomez. Gomez to make it 4-4. No! Napoli are through. Gomez hits the crossbar. The crowd delirious, and Napoli, the holders of the UEFA Cup, have beaten Sporting Lisbon 4-3 on penalties. But look at the bar shaking. And Maradona says, I don't know how I missed. What was I thinking about? I was loco, but it doesn't matter. The team are through. Napoli have beaten Sporting Lisbon 4-3 here in a dramatic penalty shootout.
Maradona missing a penalty. So, the closing headlines, a dismal night for British clubs in Europe. Celtic, Rangers, Aberdeen all out. But what a sad end for third division Swansea. Against all the odds, they nearly made it, but albeit gloriously, they're out of Europe. Notts County Saturday. Good night.